Everyone knows about Initial D, especially if you're a petrol head. You know, like football. Even if I don't care about football at all, I still know about the existence of the FIFA World Cup. But back to Initial D. It debuts on July 17, 1995 as a manga series that went on for close to 2 decades. TLDR, the manga was so popular that it spawned its own anime series, feature films, and of course, video games. The series is so popular that paved its way to create a car culture revolving around the theme. Because of the popularity of the series, of course there would be a bunch of games, including some of the famous ones made by Sega and some terrible ones not made by Sega. You know, that one. And of course, when there's a big success, someone would then try to replicate it. And today, there's one that I'm gonna talk about. Because Initial D, December, okay, that's terrible.
Side by Side
It's developed and published by Taito, released on December 4th, 1997 for the original PlayStation. But the story doesn't start here. Here's a little history. Side by Side initially debuted at the arcade in 1996. Like the fashion of arcade racer, you pick a track, pick a car, and race, and the presentation looks pretty bland, even by 1996 standard. It's unclear who worked on this game, as I couldn't find any information that would then fix the problem with the release of Side by Side 2 Evoluzione, which runs better and looks better compared to the predecessor. Yet again, no developer was credited, so I don't know who made it. But if you rewind the clock way back to 1995, Taito released an arcade exclusive title, Dangerous Curve, a racing game where you can choose between a bike or a car as you battle each other on different types of road. You can say this is what inspires Side by Side, judging by the similar graphics. The game was developed by Hiroyuki Sakawa, and according to sources, he is the one that also hated the project of Side by Side. So the mystery has been resolved. Fun fact, Dangerous Curve is the first game to use the new arcade hardware, codenamed Taito JC System Type C, that allows for 3D polygons to be implemented, which was used in couple arcade games such as Landing Gear, Then Shall They Go, and of course the aforementioned Side by Side. So based on what I just said, the similarity between each game is pretty obvious. So that's the short history of Side by Side. No need to thank me. Side by Side 1 and 2 would then combine together to create Side by Side Special for the PlayStation 1, featuring all tracks and cars from both games to make for the experience at home complete. So the game starts up with an intro showing two cars battling it out on a Touge road. Why does this look so familiar? Oh, while we're at it, it also reminds me of something. The first Initial D game, at least official one, didn't come out until 1998 with the release of Initial D Gaiden, 3 years after the manga. And here is Taito with Side by Side. You could say they jumped on the throttle and make a Touge game before anyone else did it. Not sure if you're the first one, but regardless, congrats for you for being the first title. Moving on to the game itself, there's two modes, Time Attack. What, are you waiting for me to show footage? It's self-explanatory, like I said, Time Attack, learn to read. The other is Arcade Mode, which is what you will be spending most of your time on, or maybe not, because you can't get past this title screen. This was me back then. True story. I'm so used to the usual press X to continue for the international version games, and I don't know that in Japanese version you have to press circle, and you guessed it, I was stuck at the title screen for more than half an hour, simply because I keep pressing X, which kicks me back to the intro, and I don't even know what's happening. My younger self thought this game is broken, and then I start mashing every button, and voila! It works! I feel like an idiot. Anyway, arcade mode. Like I said previously, all tracks from Side by Side 1 and 2 are bundled for your viewing pleasure and are separated based on their difficulties and months and seasons. Haha, there is winter, which means I am allowed to talk about this game in this month. Then you pick your cars and you're good to go. Spoilers, all cars behave the same, so there's no advantage if you pick a specific one. So excuse me while I keep using the Civic and the Savannah RX-7. Oh yeah, I don't like Supra, deal with it. The gameplay is pretty simple. Start from last place, reach each checkpoint, get to the first place, and finish before time runs out. Yada yada yada, you know the drill. The car controls pretty well for the most part. They are responsive to your button input and never do anything to fight back. Everything is under your control and you better get used to it, ranging from accelerating, braking to drifting, which you'll be doing all the time. If you even want to succeed, then you also have to master the core gameplay, as the game never holds your hand. Sorry, this is the 90s. Get good, sucker. Upon starting the race, the destiny is in your hand, and you gotta do what you gotta do to turn the tide around for your favor. The timing of your drifting around each corner will play a big factor. It's simple to learn but hard to execute when you think about those different courses that you selected. At the beginning, it seems easy with a wide road and you wouldn't have to let go your gas pedal for the most part, but then you come to this one narrow section along with twisty roads will demand you to have your extra skills with you. At this point, you don't just think about drifting, but the amount of gas, braking and steering to be applied will be vital to maneuver through each turns. This game is pretty sneaky in most occasions. Those tracks from the outside look like a house, plain and simple, but as you enter it, it's a whole different story. See what I mean? The game indeed wants all of your attention, much more than your girlfriend. As you can see here, the track constantly throws a bunch of corners at you before you can even think about what to do. And with the speed you are traveling on, it's all blink and miss scenario. Frankly, you can't even think about what to do unless you have the track layout memorized in your head. Fortunately, the game is kind enough to let you know where you are on the map. Okay, this is easy. Okay, don't worry, I got this. Okay. A little tricky, but I can handle it, don't worry. Okay, what the f***? Sounds intimidating, but hey, what can you do? Cheat? Hell no. Nobody likes a cheater. Get good at it, sucker. As if the track is not already hard enough, you also gotta take account the controls, which are not perfect. The D-pad doesn't work that well when you try to steer your car. I'm not saying the car controls terrible, but the problem within the controller you're holding. What I mean is that playing with a D-pad is not as accurate as playing with a wheel, since this game originated from the arcade. By playing with a D-pad, you can't pinpoint the trajectory of your car in the direction you want it. You will be constantly adjusting the car to head towards the direction of the road, but whenever you try to do it, you can't seem to get it right, which makes it harder for you to finish some courses later on because of your struggle with the control itself. Now I understand why people compare the controller with steering wheel. The difference is pretty much night and day. But there's a solution. You can use the Namco Netcon. Remember this thing? Which lets you twist your controller like a steering wheel, but not really a steering wheel if you know what I mean. Sure, it looks complicated, but after some trial and error, you will love this thing. Taito didn't stop here though, as they re-released this game in 1999, codenamed Side by Side Special 2000, which includes the ability to use analog controls, which somewhat fixes the problem. But honestly, nothing is better than using a wheel. Moving on to the physics, they are pretty good by 1997 standards, as they certainly behave like close to what a real-life car would do. Even if it's arcadey, the car feels like it is drifting according to how much force you apply. It looks satisfying when you look back in the replay. Doesn't matter what track you try, you can be assured to be able to have a good impression trying to drift. I also gotta mention the physics for specific tracks that affect the cars. For example, in the winter track, the snowy road will make you slide all over the place and you have to be very expert at managing the car. Summer also has a section where you drive through an off-road section that makes you lose grip. The track have different physics for you to overcome, and it's a good thing to make players switch up the gameplay. The collision detection is also well coded by Taito, but somewhat tricky as whenever you hit any of the wall, your speed could come to a crawl. It's not as bad as what you will suffer in Racing Lagoon, but it can seriously affect your speed as well, especially if you're racing for position. Those pesky walls can be a hassle. Trust me, you don't want that to happen at all. At least touching them will just slow your car down. It won't cause damage or cause your car to explode, so that's fair for the players. Since this is an arcade game, of course there's a time limit for everything, and with everything I just mentioned, well, you either conquer or succumb to the various amount of failures. It doesn't matter how much difficulty you change, the game itself can still be unforgiving, and the game demands you to be perfect. Literally. Why, Taito? Why? Even the RC There Go doesn't punish you that much. Or maybe I'm just terrible. Then again, I'm just terrible at everything, so maybe that could be a factor. Moving on to the graphics, in some way it holds up pretty well. Pros, for example, the game runs at a steady frame rate on whatever track you're driving on, definitely an upgrade over the arcade version. The environment for each track also did well to make you immerse in the season of the year. The attention to detail makes you be a part of the location. For example, spring, where you drive through a road filled with leaves, autumn, where you drive through a mountain full of trees around you, and special, you drift across the narrow mountain, crossing through tunnels with one of them being a snowy terrain. Okay, climate change is a serious problem, but even so, the rest is kinda mixed. Some part of the environment is filled with pop-in that can easily be noticed, while the rest of the environment is filled with blocky texture, especially when you're near any walls of a mountain, which can be easily spotted. Most of the trees also fall victim to this issue, which shows you the game is somewhat dated. But what can you do? It's a PS1 game after all. At least it looks somewhat better than other low-budget racing games during that time, so I will give credit to that. Despite the graphical issue, the game still plays pretty well, and you wouldn't care about it either way. As for the audio, it's pretty disappointing. Hear me out. The problem with the audio is that one announcer, which is annoying as well. He constantly screams the number when you're running out of time.
Your time is almost up.
3, 2, 1.
Your time is almost up.
3, 2, 1.
Your time is almost up.
3, 2, 1.
Like, thank you! I am not blind. I can see the time. No need to remind me, damn it. And also, when you get a game over, he also yells at you.
Game over.
You know, they should have used this one instead.
Game over.
Sounds better and less insulting. But there's a redeeming value though. The soundtrack is top notch. Zuntata, which is no stranger to any Taito fans, composed this music as well. And what else I could say? Zuntata is simply brilliant. Some are relaxing, some makes you push forward, and some are straight up masterpiece. So that is my review on Side by Side Special, a really fun arcade racer made by Taito. Despite some problem with the game, especially the difficulty, it is still an enjoyable experience. You can see Taito actually put in some effort to make this a good game. You know, unlike some other company that just released a bare bones port of an arcade game. Despite not getting anything new when you beat the game, well, at least you have 2 new cars, but when you think about the content they added from the 2 arcade games, I think it's already good enough. But this wouldn't be the last time Taito made a new Touge game, as Taito changed the side-by-side name into Battle Gear in 1999. It was followed by Battle Gear 2 in 2000, which was the most popular in the series. Battle Gear, yeah! The game would then get ported to PlayStation 2, only in Japan. But wait, PAL region also got that version. Okay, what the f is this? It was then followed by Battle Gear 3 in 2002, the last one in the series to have a console port, and finally Battle Gear 4 in 2005. And that was the last time we heard from the series, and with Taito being bought by Square Enix, I don't think we will see a new entry anytime soon. Moreover, Initial D and One Gun arcade games are really popular now, and Battle Gear wouldn't have the chance anyway. That's all I gotta say with this video. If you enjoyed what you see, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. Comment below your opinion on this game. Have you played it? Have you heard it? Let's have a peaceful discussion. And if you want to follow me while I'm doing, follow me on Twitter and my community posts because I'm mostly active there. Thank you for watching, and remember to drift.